My wife manipulated me into having a child, then kidnapped him to save him from men like me. I got him back and slammed the door on her forever. Years later, she's begging for his forgiveness. When my wife and I first met, she was perfect. As I drove her home from our first date in my car, I played my favorite song. She told me she didn't like it, and I told her that it was cool because of the melody. After 20 seconds of listening, she nodded and changed her mind. That's when I realized just how feminine and receptive she would be to my opinion, and I wanted to protect her at all costs. But nothing could save her from the wrath of radical feminism. You see, I used to love feminists, until my wife met this group near her job. These women were wolves in sheep's clothing. At first glance, it was just a friend group that supported each other and had a strong sense of sisterhood. But after spending a meal with them, I wanted to unalive myself, because they were the type of people that made it their life's purpose to get upset at everything. When I held the door open for them, one of them stomped on my toe with their heel and said, "That's for thinking women can't do anything by themselves." Or when I paid for the meal, the one sitting beside me pinched my arm and said, "Women work too." But when I asked if anyone else wanted to chip into paying the bill by zelling me, the entire table went silent. Go figure. It was after this meal that the pieces started coming together, because up to this point, our arguments were making no effing sense. If she ever caught me with a single dirty sock on the floor, she would tell me that it's my fault, that RP allegations aren't taken more seriously, because no one respects women. Or if I ever asked to cue a song when she was on aux in the car, she'd say it was just like me, as a man, to be so effing entitled and make everything about myself. It honestly got to the point where I asked her to take a pregnancy test, because her hormones were going everywhere, and when it came out as negative, I knew it was just her crappy friends that were causing our marriage to collapse. But if you know me, then you know I am the last effing person to ever let a marriage die. Not just for me, or for her, but also for my son, Ian. Because he had already become attached to her, and saw her as a mother. So I did everything. I tried manipulation. Nothing crazy, just invited her to meet my friends who respected both men and women to show her what it was like. Didn't work. Next, I tried lavishing her with everything I could think of. For weeks, I took her on expensive boat dates, hotel room visits, even decorated our bedroom with that huge Valentine's Day display multiple times, just because. But it was never enough. She never thanked me, never changed her behavior, always just informed me that I was doing the bare minimum, and it was simply what she deserved. So in a final resort, I tried to act like her. I played her exact playlists, which had all turned into songs with extreme profanities, treated men the same as her, and at one point even got my nails done with clear gel. But just when I thought we were actually getting somewhere, I came home to Ian crying his eyes out. The only other person with him was my wife, but she was downstairs while he was in his room. It didn't make any sense. As he cried, I held him and did the breathing exercises we always did together whenever he got overstimulated. When he finally calmed down, he took off all his clothes. What I saw next made me almost vomit. All over his tiny arms, legs, and chest were injuries, one that could have only been done by an adult. I didn't say anything, just reclothed him and drove him to my sister's place for the night. When I got back, I screamed at my wife for the first time ever. "Was that you?" She looked at me and rolled her eyes. "Oh, here we go. Man screams at woman because of his fragile ego. Did you lay a single hand on Ian?" She looked shocked that I had spoken back. "You should be thanking me. I'm making sure he doesn't turn out to be a shitty man like the rest of this population." I stopped listening after that. If she wasn't a woman, I would have wailed on her until red splattered against the walls. Instead, I took a deep breath. "We're effing done," I said, before walking out and driving to my sister's place. I figured that after the divorce process ended, I'd never have to deal with her again. But I was wrong. Because a few weeks later, her and her feminist circle broke into my sister's home while I was at work. I called the police as soon as the home security detected movement, but they were too late. Ian was gone. My hands shook as I gripped the steering wheel, racing back to my sister's house. The police were already there, their cruisers parked haphazardly in the driveway. An officer approached me as I stumbled out of my car. I explained everything as calmly as I could manage. How my ex-wife had hurt Ian. How I'd taken him to my sister's for safety. How the security cameras had caught movement before they disappeared. The officer took notes, his face growing more serious